Halo, a series that is hailed among the greatest FPS franchises of all time, right alongside the likes of Call of Duty, Doom, and Half-Life. Yet while many of us now associate Halo to Microsoft the same way Mario is associated to Nintendo, that almost never happened. The first Halo game was unveiled back in 1999 as a real-time strategy game, and the man to unveil it? Steve Jobs, the late founder and former CEO of Apple, Microsoft's biggest competitor. So how did we get from here to the greatest Xbox game of the century with Halo 3? Let's find out.
Were it so easy.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
In 2000, Microsoft and Bill Gates revealed their plans to enter the gaming market with a system that sought to bridge the gap between home consoles and PCs. The Xbox promised impressive specs and features suitable for an online age, but not even The Rock's endless charm could sell a piece of hardware that was not accompanied by must-own software.
Bill Gates, you never cease to amaze The Rock.
At that year's E3 event, Bungie happened to be showcasing a third-person shooter for PC called Halo. The game left a positive impression because Microsoft bought Bungie and pushed Halo as the Xbox's flagship property. You see, Microsoft's monopoly on the PC market allowed them to acquire multiple developers to fund their titles exclusively on their first foray into the console market, and Bungie just so happened to be one of those developers.
And we are their instrument.
More importantly, what was now known as Halo Combat Evolved was turned into a first-person shooter, a genre that had only experienced tentative success on consoles. When it finally launched on November 15, 2001, alongside the Xbox, it was a massive success. With an ambitious storyline, smart enemy AI, a godly soundtrack, regenerating health, a two-gun system, large-scale battles that prioritized player agency, and a robust local multiplayer experience, Halo Combat Evolved demonstrated what first-person shooters could be on consoles and put Microsoft on the gaming map. Looking to capitalize on their breakout success, Bungie immediately went to work on Halo 2.
I need a weapon.
Right this way.
Releasing on November 9, 2004, the game took advantage of Microsoft's Xbox Live service to offer online multiplayer, introducing features like matchmaking and lobbies that would become staples of the scene moving forward. If Halo 1 announced to the world that the Xbox had arrived, Halo 2 confirmed that the platform was not going anywhere. That said, Halo 2 did have one major flaw that kept it from taking the title of Best Xbox Game of the Century. The single player finished on a frustrating cliffhanger ending.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
This was reportedly due to time constraints and the fact that the Xbox 360 was due to launch in the next quarter. Thus, delaying the game any further would also mean reworking it for the 360, and that was not an option. One upside to this cliffhanger, however, is that it made the anticipation for Halo 3 all the more salivating, especially when it was unveiled at E3 2006. And with their biggest competitor Sony fumbling the launch of their PlayStation 3, Halo 3 was poised to make the Xbox 360 the leading console on the market.
I know you, your past, your future.
Released on September 25, 2007, Halo 3 was perhaps the most highly anticipated game on the Xbox 360. Microsoft and Bungie went all out with its marketing, reportedly spending more than $40 million to make sure everyone knew that Master Chief's return was imminent. Microsoft also ran a public multiplayer beta session, inviting anyone who had purchased a copy of Crackdown, which ended up boosting sales of that title too.
And welcome to the Halo 3 multiplayer beta. If you are in the beta, that means you were specially selected, or you purchased a copy of Crackdown.
Halo had become more than just a video game, as the license had spawned books, comics, all of the merchandise, and a live-action film that was even in pre-production around the same time.
Halo 3 is here!
While that hype helped make Halo 3 one of the most pre-ordered games of all time in the US, it meant expectations were astronomically high for Bungie's sequel. Commercially, the game amassed approximately $170 million in the US on its opening day, a record at the time. And at the time, Halo 3 would go on to be the best-selling game on the Xbox 360 until it was overtaken by Connected Ventures and GTA 5, and it became the most commercially successful entry in the Halo series.
Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it.
Halo 3 was also a massive hit with critics and received near universal praise. Bungie's FPS holds a 94 on Metacritic and would go on to win multiple awards, including Time Magazine's Game of the Year. Even once the hype died down, Halo 3 remained one of the definitive multiplayer games on the Xbox 360, a system that hardly lacked fantastic online experiences.
10 points remaining.
Compared to Halo 2's rushed development cycle, Bungie had a better time putting together the sequel. The impeccable foundations installed by the previous entries meant Bungie could focus on completing Master Chief's story, fine-tuning the gameplay, and adding new elements to both the single-player and especially the multiplayer. Although the developer would go on to release ODST and Halo Reach, Bungie was preparing to move on from Microsoft by the time Halo 3 rolled around. Consequently, the overall game has a feeling of finality to it. Halo 3 is the culmination of all the work the studio put into the FPS franchise over a decade. Although not without its flaws, Halo 3's campaign does a solid job of wrapping up the original trilogy, starting off by dropping Master Chief on Earth to stop the Covenant and the High Prophet of Truth. Eventually, the story shifts focus to the Flood and Gravemind, before returning to the newly rebuilt Halo Ring to bring this story thread to a close on the grounds where it first started.
Wake me when you need me.
With a couple of noteworthy deaths and a bigger-than-ever scale reflected by both the story's universe-spanning stakes and the expansive design of the levels, Halo 3's short but effective campaign offered a satisfying way to conclude a beloved storyline while delivering the most complete experience out of the original trilogy. The back-breaking higher difficulty modes and the hidden skulls found throughout the levels ensured that there was something for both casual and hardcore players.
Cortana?
High Charity, the Prophet's holy city is on...
Cortana!
Instead of recreating the wheel, Halo 3 focused on expanding on what already existed by introducing new weapons or retooling pre-existing ones, debuting gear with defensive or passive benefits, and throwing in a few new vehicles for added measure. Detachable two-handed support weapons such as a flamethrower and a missile pod were also introduced as a new way to quickly clear out a room, although they came at the cost of movement speed. Along with a host of new weapons, Bungie also rebalanced many of the older items, allowing for the creation of dynamic battles featuring a symphony of weapons, grenades, and the gravity hammer smashing enemies into bits.
We trade one villain for another.
As good as the single-player campaign might be, Halo has always been about the multiplayer. With the Xbox Live system well established by 2007, Halo 3 had the quantity and quality of content to take full advantage of the online service. Most of the campaign's shortcomings, mainly the useless companion AI, were rendered moot when played in co-op mode that supported up to 4 players. This not only made the battles far more tactical by giving Master Chief a competent unit that would counter the aggressive enemy AI strategies, but a scoring system added the element of competition that could also be used by a player to tweak their approach to combat scenarios. When it came to the competitive modes, Halo 3 shipped with 11 maps, with 12 more being added through DLC packs and one free release in 2008. The base game prioritized quality over quantity, as the 11 maps were expertly designed to highlight different types of combat. The Guardian tested a player's reflexes in close-quarter warfare, the Stand Trap was a wide-open desert ideal for vehicular combat, and Valhalla served as a welcome throwback to Combat Evolved's Blood Gulch map that supported close and ranged battles. With 9 game modes, including King of the Hill, Oddball, and Infection, Halo 3 had something for everyone. And, on the off chance that the available maps were not hitting the spot, players could always enter the Forge to alter the loadout or settings of weapons and make small tweaks to maps. This mode would be further expanded upon in subsequent games of the series, but this level editor was perhaps the most important feature introduced by Halo 3. Nowadays, it is impossible to imagine a Halo title without a Forge. Halo 3 also introduced a saved films feature that essentially allowed users to create movies using footage from their campaign runs and online matches. These features, combined with more character customization options in multiplayer, further enhanced Halo 3's longevity while giving control to players. Ever since Microsoft released the original Xbox on November 15, 2001, their systems have welcomed countless great console exclusives. Be it Gears of War or Forza, a handful of first-party franchises have shaped Xbox as a brand. However, no other license has been as crucial as Halo. Although Combat Evolved and Halo 2 were perhaps more influential games, Halo 3 represented everything great about the series maximized to its full potential. Even as Bungie moved on to Destiny and Halo began its more polarizing period under the tutelage of 343 Industries, the franchise has remained the definitive Xbox property, and a significant portion of that reputation can be credited to Halo 3.
Bet you did it.
truth and the covenant, the flood. It's finished.
It's finished.
Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree. What's your favorite Xbox console exclusive of all time? Let us know down in the comments.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.